What is up guys, Juliet here of Social Vignerons. Welcome back to another wine video. This is episode 28 of the Tasting with Julian series. And today we are going to Italy, one of my favorite wine countries, to taste one of my favorite wine styles. Today we are going to taste the wines of Amarone della Valpolicella, or Amarone della Valpolicella. We are going to be tasting the wines by one of the most famous producers of the style, the wines by Pasqua Winery, Cantina Pasqua, an important, big, expensive, important producer of Amarone, but they also make other wines from the Veneto in north of Italy. They make some white wines from Soave, and they make also sparkling wines from Prosecco. So Pasqua was founded in 1925, and they've been knowing a very important expansion, a very important success worldwide, and grown in size. They are very, very famous and respected, and in particular for their Amarone style. So I got in touch with them and say, hey, can I try your popular wines? And here we go. We have the wines from Amarone of the Pasqua family, or Famiglia Pasqua. So today we're going to be tasting three wines: a wine called PassioneSentimento, or Romeo and Juliet blend, and we will be tasting the Famiglia Pasqua 2013 Amarone della Valpolicella, and we will be tasting 2015 Amarone della Valpolicella Classico, so the classic from the heart of the Valpolicella wine growing area, from a single estate, the Villa Borghetti, and and so that's more of a high-end premium typical style. So we are going to be able to explore some slightly different styles, different variations around the style, from the very classic to more modern, a little bit more modern take on the style with the Passionesemento. Let's get into the Passionesemento Romeo and Juliet blend. So this is not an Amarone, it doesn't come under the DOCG, the denomination or the appellation Amarone. This is a Veneto Rosso because it's not made from grapes exactly from the Valpolicella area, but around the Valpolicella area, still in the Veneto, still around the province of Verona, around the town and the city of Verona. And by the way, what this cuvée, how this cuvée came by, and why this beautiful label, by the way, this is a photo of the Juliet, the wall of Juliet in the Juliet's house. So in Verona there is this famous villa, that is the Villa di Giulietta, the Juliet's house from the tale of Romeo and Juliet. And so they've reproduced this label, and this is a bit of a tribute to Romeo and Juliet in the city of Verona as well. This is also made like Amarone, drying grapes. So they harvest the grapes, they pick them by hand, and then put them on trays for quite a few weeks. I mean, Amarone is, they can dry the grapes for up to 100 or around 120 days, so that's quite a long time. It's probably a little bit less on this one. So this wine is a blend of Corvina and Croatina, which are traditional grapes from Valpolicella, but it's got also a little bit of Merlot, just to give it a bit more body and make it a bit more relaxed, we assume. So let's pour this little baby. This is a 2016 vintage, so it's a young wine. I believe this is very popular in restaurants all around the world, and you're probably going to be able to buy this wine anywhere at your local shop. I think it's extensively exported and distributed around the world. Pretty nice, very dense color. The nose is a little bit shy, so I suspect you should decant this wine, and I might actually do that right now, just to give this wine a little bit more time to open up and express itself. Bear with me a second. Yes, so let's decant this little baby, give it a little bit more air and a minute more of aeration before I can taste it. Here we go. This is a beautiful decanter by Spigolo, one of my favorite brands for glassware for wine. here we go. We'll give this wine 5 minutes to open up and get back to it. Here we go, so I've let the wine rest for 5 minutes. It's important to give wine the time that it needs before you taste it. So check out, blog sites and what critics say about the wine you're going to try, and see what if they say how long before you should open it up. Otherwise, just give the wine a sniff like I did. And if it feels a little bit introvert, if it smells a little bit like rubber or a little bit like tar, give the wine a little time to open up, decant it, half an hour. Most wines open up very quickly. After 10 minutes at least they start really to open up, so it's always a good advice to do that. Let's dig into this wine a bit further now. Yeah, it's definitely opened up. I'm getting a lot of blackberry and juicy cherry. So the drying of the grapes obviously concentrates the sugar, but also the fruit character, and you can definitely smell that it's got some jammy cherry as well as caramel. It still has a little bit of this tarry note, which I think also comes from the traditional Verona grapes. But it's spicy, it's chocolatey, it's got a bit of dark cocoa. It's very tempting, very opulent and pungent to smell at. So yeah, this is definitely a dry wine. Amarone stands for bitter, or very bitter. It comes from the word amaro, which means bitter in Italian, and Amarone means that it's supposed to be really bitter. Amarone is not actually very bitter, but it does has the savoriness and the concentration of tannins, and the vivacity of the acidity makes it somewhat bitter or somewhat savory, and definitely food friendly. So this is a dry wine, but it's opulent in body. There's a big burst of caramel cherry flavor, somewhat of like a big Merlot in a way, but with the savoriness, the touches of vegetal character, herbal characters to the edge, lots of pepper. This is a big bursting wine, but it's also thirst quenching as well. This is not the huge Amarone, big rich Amarone style. This is kind of a take on a mild expression and fruity expression of Amarone without the immense this kind of a bit overwhelming body of some Amarone. It actually has a little bit less alcohol as well. Amarones tend to have very high alcohol. This is 14% only, while those two are 15%. So you get the goodness of an Amarone without the overwhelming too big of a wine if you're not too much into this style. PassioneSentimento, Romeo and Juliet, to me is a 90 out of 100 points. It's getting interesting. It's in that international world-class wine. Tempting, delicious, thirst quenching, fruity, delicious wine. But let's move on to 2013 Famiglia Pasqua Amarone della Valpolicella, so DOCG. So this is not a Classico. This is sourced from grapes from all around the Valpolicella area with dried grapes, obviously. This is the archetypical, the super successful Amarone della Valpolicella by Pasqua, one that is drunk all around the world and super popular. This is archetypical, typical Amarone 101. Let's see what it tastes like. So as expected, the dark dense color. It's red, it's dark, black to the core. Touches of orange hues, touches of purple hues as well. It has the whole spectrum. This is 2013, so it's been aged for a few years already. This is nearly a 6 years old wine. It's deeper, it's stronger, it's got a lot of this blackberry and cherry as well, but you can sense that it's much more concentrated in here. It's darker, it's got a lot of that juicy chocolate to the nose. And I love the black pepper and coffee character that it's got on the back of the aromatic profile. It smells good. Yeah, so the typical dryness and acidity, the juiciness, the salivating juiciness of Amarone, but this is covered, this is rounded in an oily body. Quite a lot of tannins, but they're soft, they're velvety, because the drying process kind of breaks down the tannins a little bit and make them silky to your palate, especially because they are surrounded by so much richness, quite a fair bit of alcohol as well, so it's coating your body. This is a wine with explosive character, explosive fruity character. This is a wine that is made to withstand any food pairing. You can pair this with any very tasty dishes, with obviously Italian dishes come to mind, rich, creamy, tomato-based pastas, pizzas. I know some say that you shouldn't drink wine with pizzas, but I personally find that wine goes really well with pizza, and any strong dish can withstand be paired with this wine. Grilled meats, barbecues, this is all-terrain sort of wine with any powerfully scented, powerfully flavored dish, and that's the whole beauty of Amarone. If you are into rich wines with a fair bit of alcohol but also an enormous body. So Famiglia Pasqua Amarone to me is a 91 plus out of 100 points. It's bigger, it's richer, it's getting into the really serious wines. Complexity, depth, length, I can still taste it now. It's long and it's excellent. It's very well made. And now to the Villa Borghetti Amarone della Valpolicella Classico. This is 2015 vintage, so as I was saying, Classico means that it comes from the heart of the appellation with a typical terroir. Often the Classico Amarone are considered some of the best. The best of the best are called Classico and Superiore. This is not a Superiore, but for Pasqua, who makes quite a lot of wines by blending different wines or different grapes from many different areas. This is more of a single estate wine from the Villa Borghetti, the iconic flagship wine from Pasqua, if you will. So let's see how it compares with the Famiglia wine. So yes, certainly a bit of a bigger color to this wine. It's got more purple hues to it. This is a younger wine, so you can see it's a little bit more vibrant, a little bit more blue in its appearance. It looks fresher. The nose is fresher as well. The fruit character, while we were on the blackberry and cherry over there, we're more on the raspberry. There's still some blackberry, but it's maybe riper blackberry, more like a raspberry, rich raspberry, and some blueberries as well. So it smells and it feels a little bit more elegant to start with. Certainly a lot of spiciness, a lot of pepper, but while on the Amarone the pepper was black, this is more on the white pepper. So it is more lifted, more vibrant, more fruity. It feels a bit lighter to smell at. It feels like you're going to have less of a power bomb on the palate just by smelling at it. Let's try. So yeah, definitely you are getting the concentration, the big body, the oily texture, the alcohol, the explosion of flavors. There's a lot more spiciness, like it's an explosive white pepper bomb with lots of herbal characters of thyme and rosemary, a bit of peppermint. This definitely is this Amarone signature style, but overall it's got more acidic tension, it's got fresher fruit expression, which makes it a little bit more palatable, a little bit less boring, because you got this tension from the acidity all along the palate. It's salivating, still the velvety tannins around your palate, around your taste buds, but with this tension and character that is given by the Classico terroir, which is a little bit more restrained in style. I love the zestiness of the fruit and the explosivity of the herbal character in there. This is a 92 out of 100 points wine because it's got the body, the richness, everything, but it also has a signature from a vineyard, a single vineyard, and it's always better when you can identify something that is a bit special, that is a bit distinctive about an individual wine. And in this case it is the herbal character. You can sense, almost taste the grapes and the terroir and the vineyards in this wine. It's got this slightly vegetal character that we love. If you've ever gone in a vineyard, this distinctive vine smell, the smell of vine leaves, the smell of vine grapes, is packed up, concentrated into this wine. So overall, the Amarone of Pasquas are super well done, very precise, spicy and fruity. It's all packed in there. They're extremely well done. This is a safe choice for Amarone, but also a very good one. If you want to explore and if you want to enjoy an Amarone, you can't go wrong with Pasqua. If you don't want to rely on exploring smaller producers, at least you've got a very safe choice here. Wines that are really well made. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Tasting with Julian series, trying to make them a little shorter, go straighter to the point. I did make a video with my Talking Wine with Julian series about the Amarone episode 7, so go and check this out. I'll link into it up here or here and down in the description below if you want to learn more about Amarone. Overall, if you want to learn more about wine, come on with the journey with me. I'm releasing as much as possible daily videos about wine knowledge, about exploring different regions and what you should know about different styles of wine. So come along with the journey with me, and I will see you soon in the wine world. Cheers.